Public comment. I don't see any public out there, so just us staff and counselors. So.
There's hello, public. There's staff.
We'll do the consent agenda. There isn't, is there anyone? No, there probably isn't. We had an extensive public comment during our work session. So seeing none, I will go on to the consent agenda. Several items in the consent agenda. Here.
Counselor Condon
Here.
and Mayor Green.
Here.
Thank you.
If we have an opportunity now for public comment, if you wish to make a comment about an item that is not on the agenda, come forth and we'll give you 3 minutes to have your say. Seeing none, we'll move on then to the consent agenda. All right. Next we'll have public comment. If this is on a topic other than what's on the agenda, you'll have 3 minutes to provide input. I will tell you that I'll kind of do this out of order. We did discuss the wildland urban interface and electrical code update, and we realized that we needed to do a lot more discussion on that before we can come to any conclusions. And the same is true for the Old Water property plant as well. I think we are just at the beginning of trying to decide what to do about that. So with that, is there anybody who wishes to come forward? Go ahead.
So just name.
State your name and where you live.
I'm Trish O'Grady. I live in Rifle.
Okay.
I've been here about 9 years and glad to meet the new mayor.
Well, thank you.
I love this little town. So start off with a few compliments. You probably don't get those too often from citizens, I suppose. You could always use some compliments, right?
Indeed.
I live near the Morrow Trail. I love that. I use that on a regular basis, so thank you for building that. And I see a lot of people on that trail, and I appreciate that there's trash cans on either side, because there's still trash in the area, but there's trash cans. That's about what you can do. And I really appreciate that you added that sidewalk on White River between 10th and 16th. It was built maybe 5-6 years ago. That was a dangerous area, and that sidewalk gets used on a regular basis, including myself. So I appreciate, that you recognized the need there and took care of that. Now I'd like to go on a little bit of ideas on some improvements or some ideas that I had. I've heard some talk about the possibility of moving the Veterans Memorial that's out there by Walmsley School. I am a veteran, and I would like it to stay where it's at.
I think we've had that discussion, and that's pretty much the conclusion
Okay,
that
good.
the council came to.
Okay.
So we've asked the city manager to provide us input as to cost and scope and kind of the conceptual design for a rebuild of it. Because it needs some work.
Yeah, I haven't really gone out and taken a real close look at it lately, and I've heard there's some issues about some names being on there that are not supposed to be, but that can all be rectified.
It can.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good, because I
think we'll
appreciate
need
that
to
that's
get,
there.
Mr. Pruitt involved in that maybe, and with some veterans. If you want to verify names, you can always go to the St. Louis database, and if it's a DD 214 or if it's honorable discharge or the criteria, then you can research the names against that database.
As long as it's not one that got burned up in the fire. They had
Oh.
a fire in the 70s that wiped
Oh,
out
that's
a bunch of
right.
records.
Yeah, I forgot about
So a
that.
lot of guys, if they don't have something on their own, it's very difficult to rebuild their
Yeah.
record.
Okay, I didn't know that, so, okay.
So, yeah, we're working on it.
Good,
Yeah.
good, glad to hear it. I'm usually part of the DDA, Downtown Development Authority Annual Trash Pickup. I didn't notice they had it this year, maybe I missed it, or I was out of town, I don't know. But I'd like to see the city possibly do something similar to that if DDA is not doing it anymore. Because I do see a lot of trash along the river at times, and I think organizing a volunteer program, just like they did with, you have a little lunch or give away a few prizes, I don't think it would I would think it'd be cost effective is what I'm trying to say, if you got enough citizens to do that, at least at the springtime like they did, because they had a pretty good turnout when they did it. So I just don't know if they're just not doing it anymore to improve that area. But I also love what you did downtown, too. I think it looks great. And along that note, I have called Alan Lambert a couple times about the presence of the Dollar Tree Mall area. It doesn't look nice most of the time you go there. There's trash when you walk into that area, overflowing trash. I've talked to Dollar Tree. I've called Alan Lambert a couple times, and he said, well, we'll talk to the owner. We'll get back to you. And it looks okay for maybe a week or two, and then it's just trashed again. I don't know whose responsibility that is other than the owner of that mall. And, I don't have that information or whatever, but I just don't think it's a very nice presence when you're coming in from the Meeker area or whatever, and that's one of the first places you see is that area. And to me, it just doesn't represent our city very well. Do I have any more time? Is that about it?
Well, yeah, you've kind of exceeded the 3 minutes.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. There were some highlights there. So I'll probably follow up with email with one of you on
Yeah.
what's happening there with the Dollar Tree and
Me and Tommy,
maybe
probably.
trash
Yeah.
Yeah,
cleanup.
if you can put me on that, that would be great.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Mhm. What branch of service?
I was Air Force and Air National Guard. I'm actually a retiree,
Good.
so.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Come on up.
Good
Name
evening.
and- Name and address.
Russell Pearson. I live up on 1461 Dogwood Drive, and we're actually happy now. We do have my wife, neighbor, all of us that live right there. We are so happy to actually see the city finally doing something with the water treatment plant.
Good.
And we would like to put our 2 cents in of how we would like to keep that neighborhood kind of the same way it is with the nice single-family homes, keep everything nice and clean. It'd be nice to get that place cleaned up a little bit, and we're kind of just looking to see what the city is looking to do with it.
Well, I think the first thing we gotta do is clean it up.
Yes.
That's gonna be,
Or get it cleaned up.
or get it cleaned up, yeah. And that's the next thing that we have to decide is what approach we're gonna take on that. And then, once you get it cleaned up, then you have some options as to what can go on there.
Okay. Does the city have any what options they're really leaning towards or anything?
Well, Tommy had talked to Habitat, but the cost of the remediation is prohibitive, and it makes putting single families on there probably not practical for Habitat, but maybe there's another solution.
Yeah, it would be,
I don't think we want multifamily there.
Yeah.
no.
And I don't think, it would totally throw off the whole
Right.
part of the neighborhood. The whole neighborhood's kind of been the whole single-family.
It would need to
Homes.
be single-family housing.
Yes.
That's our view.
Okay.
Yeah,
Understandable.
we agree
I
with
think.
that,
Yeah, and I think we're all in agreement with that one.
yeah.
So we're just kind of looking forward to seeing how this is gonna play out and
Yeah,
how we can
really.
keep our neighborhood looking nice and keeping clean.
I just ask you to be a little patient with us. This is a big project.
Yeah,
and
oh, understandable, and we've lived across it for 15 years.
I understand.
So, I mean, we've been part of it, we've dealt with it, we understand what's gonna go into it. So we're just trying to keep an eye for the future. I mean, all of our kids have grown up here, so we wanna see how our neighborhood's gonna shape up through everything. So that's our main concern on what's gonna go forward with this. And that's all I got.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you, Russell.
Thank you.
Anyone else? He said it, okay. Very good. All right, then let's move on to the consent agenda, and I may need water before I get through this. Consider minutes of the April 20,